Alright, let's see. Are we good? Do we have sound? Oh, life. I think we should be okay. Alright, beautiful, beautiful. Alright. Sorry about that, my internet went out again. Yay! In which I make awkward videos on YouTube because my computer can't stay on the internet for more than 10 minutes at a fucking time. Love it. Okay, let me just get a second to get the visuals back. I went back to where it looked like the stream cut off, so we should be good. Also, I just wanted to hear this line again. Don't you fucking touch her! Yeah, Michaela Laws with the sick voice acting. Before I knew it, Diana pressed her body against the bars that divided our cells and grabbed James's shoulder, digging her nails into it.
You little...
In retaliation, James swung his arm towards Diana and forged a familiar pistol in his hand. Within moments, he aimed and fired. I could only watch as Diana jumped back and held her chest, blood oozing from between her fingers and onto the ground. She stared at James in both pain and surprise before crumpling to the floor and exhaling the last breath she would ever. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this. This is not good. Why? My mind was caught in a frenzy of emotions. While I felt shocked, terrified, and mortified at what had happened, my mind continued to dance in the desirable waves that ran through my body. Why couldn't I control myself? Because he's a succubus. The pistol in James's hand disappeared as he let out a sneer of irritation.
Damn it!
James then looked at me, towering over me as I both cowered in fear and melted against the back wall of my cell.
Looks like you'll have to give me twice the amount of energy from now on.
Ooh, so he was taken for both of us. As James began to step towards me, I felt hot tears run down my cheeks while I panted like a dog in heat. I wanted to scream. I wanted to tell him not to hurt me. My voice began to press against the vice holding it, wanting to explode out. James's shadow consumed me, and I let out a scream. Then I woke up. Thank God! Thank God! Oh, and we're back in our very familiar bedroom. Oh, it feels like revisiting an old friend. That was a wonderful and very chilling introduction. I shot up in my bed, panting wildly as my heart pounded hard against my ribcage. I gripped my hand over my chest, feeling my pulse beating underneath the skin in a frantic rhythm in time with my hastened breath. This is not a good game for me to be playing with my voice like this right now, guys. We're tempting fate at this point. I heard the faint echo of my scream bounce through the room as I really let it sink in. As always, I let reality sink in. It was a dream, and I was awake now. Everything was okay. Everything was...
Love?
My heart froze, and I felt my body tense up at the sound of James's voice beside me. My heated cheeks reminded me of the tears I had shed in the dream and who had caused them. Oh, hey there, babe! I shot my head to the side to see James, the man whom I loved, but also the man who terrified me, looked at me with a face painted with concern and worry.
Love, are you okay?
Get away from me! I couldn't control myself as I quickly rolled out of bed and pressed myself back against the far wall, staring at him in absolute terror. James only stared back at me, still shocked and now troubled. He didn't move, most likely not wanting to frighten me further. Images of the dream I had began to replay in my head, replacing the James in bed with the James that towered over me in that dark jail cell. My body shook violently from the memory, but soon my logic began to break the images apart, leaving me with the sight of James still in bed, staring at me. My thoughts slowly melted, and I felt myself start to cry once again. This time my heart began to ache as I realized who I yelled at. I lurched forward and practically jumped at James, who opened his arms wide and wrapped me in them as I landed against his chest. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Shh. There's nothing to be sorry about. It was only a nightmare. I'm right here.
James held me close to him as I began to cry into his shoulder. I continued to apologize to him, whimpering and sobbing like a child as the fear from the nightmare slowly began to fade away. James's hand simply ran over my head and hair, trying to calm me down. So, this seems to me like a little bit of foreshadowing because we know that she had the dream about Malix when in the first game, and that kind of sort of came true. So, you know, maybe her dreams have a little bit of prophecy to them. I don't know, you guys. Maybe not. I don't know. It had felt so real, and yet I knew that it couldn't have been. James was right here, protecting me and comforting me, proving the love he had for me. He would never hurt me. Ever. Eventually, I was able to calm down and look up at the man holding me as he gently smiled down at me.
Are you all right?
I nodded, earning a small squeeze of his arms around me. I naturally cuddled closer to his body, desiring more of his warmth. What time is it? James gently hugged me tighter to his body as he looked over at the nightstand at his phone, which was docked in a fancy speaker charger.
It's 3:40 a.m.
We still had a few hours before our alarms were set to wake us up. Crap. Why did I have to have a nightmare and wake both of us up? I gripped James's shoulders and looked up at him all apologetically. I'm sorry. I know you need your sleep.
Please don't worry about it. My beautiful fiancé is much more important to me than sleep.
That's right, Babe proposed to us at the end of his last story. As he said fiancé, I couldn't help but feel my face heat up, letting a brush run along my cheeks. It was true. I was his fiancé. He had asked me to marry him a couple of months ago, and I had accepted his proposal, wanting to be his wife. Okay, so this takes place a couple of months after the first game. Just thinking about the idea of being with him forever made the imaginary butterflies in my stomach dance around happily and flutter their wings against my heart. It was a dream come true. His love and warmth assured me that my nightmare was just that. He was my wonderful husband-to-be, and I was going to be his wife. My body couldn't help but shiver in happiness. James caught the shiver and gently ran his hands up and down my arms.
Are you feeling cold?
No, you just make me happy, that's all. As I leaned up and kissed James's cheek, he smiled and kissed mine in return. His warm lips sent another euphoric shiver down my spine, and I felt joy run through my veins. I truly loved James. Adorable! It wasn't long, however, before I felt something gently brush against my hip. I looked down as James cleared his throat in embarrassment. Oh, God. Raising an eyebrow as well as a growing blush on my face, I looked up at my fiancé as he looked away from me, his face almost as red as a tomato.
I'm sorry, I can't exactly control my excitement when you say things like that.
Yeah, he's he's an incubus. What do you expect? Yeah, it doesn't look like this has anything to do with his actual route. Obviously, we're going to have some kind of a spicy scene if we push it. I don't really know if we should, considering that we're on Twitch. I don't know, Shelties. What should we do? Oh, God! James didn't have to use his powers to light a fire in me. I'm terrible. I gently tilted my head and kissed him, capturing his lips with mine lovingly. I felt my body slowly heat up, softly and tenderly, to make sure not to scare me. His enthrallment became a natural part of our lovemaking. It not only helped him gain energy, but it made the pleasure of our sex practically 10 times more powerful. As I moaned against his lips, she gently ran his hands up and down my back over my rear, making me slightly jump in surprise at the feel. As he gripped it, I let out another hot moan, and James smiled. And I really don't know if we should do this, guys. Yeah, we'll go for it. I stared at the ceiling, lusting for James as he pulled away from the kiss and began to kiss over my neck. I absolutely needed this man, and I needed him now. My body pressed against his and forced him back onto the bed, allowing me to be on top and be in control. James stared up at me, still gripping onto my ass and gently massaging each cheek with his fingers with a smirk. We both knew that he was always in control when we made love. However, my rebellious attempts at being top often spurred him on to be that much rougher in our play. It was like a game. Still, I think I tried valiantly and not in vain. I moved my hands back and took his off of me, laced our fingers together, and pinning them to the bed beside his head. They didn't fight back against my hold, but James's face continued to intimidate me with a playful smirk and a dominant gaze. Okay, yeah, we can't do this scene.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm
it's
sorry.
not gonna. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna have to load back from here. Hold on. Hold on. We can't do that scene. Alright. It's alright, let's go back to sleep. James smiled, took a deep breath to calm down and nodded before gently releasing me and moving the covers to let me in. I slid my body under the covers and moved my body to lie against his. He wrapped his arms around me and closed his eyes. I wasn't wanting to do anything more than hold and sleep next to the man I loved. I was happy that he understood my decision and respected it. Well, that was part of what made me fall in love with him in the first place. I closed my eyes and went back to sleep, knowing that James would protect me from any more nightmares. The nightmare didn't return. What's up, Chelsea's? Yeah, I'm sure that his CGs are A-okay, but it's the content of the wording that is just smashing through the Twitch TOS. I can't do those scenes in this game, it looks like, unfortunately. Which sucks. But hopefully you guys will understand. Yeah, because that's pretty graphic. More graphic than the first game, that's for sure. Alrighty. The nightmares didn't return. I slept peacefully with James's arms as if nothing else mattered in the world except for me and him. The morning was kind, James and I sweetly awakening before our alarms. Oddly, I felt well rested and ready for the day ahead. As I looked at James, who was still holding me, he opened his eyes and slowly smiled down at me.
Good morning. Did you sleep better?
I nodded, causing him to chuckle and kiss my forehead. My own lips curled up into a smile as his lips touched my skin. I hugged him tighter, burying my head in his chest. Do we have to get up?
Unfortunately, we do. You have to organize more wedding arrangements, and I have to go to work.
Do you have to?
Yes, I do. Now come on, let's go.
I couldn't help but whine. I wanted to stay with James in bed just a little bit longer. However, since he was the CEO of the Anderson Toys Company, he had many obligations to attend to. That's right, he's the head of our family toy company. Not even his future wife could pull him away from those duties. As James sat up, he took me into his arms and kissed me lovingly, making a smile grow back onto my cheeks. I couldn't be annoyed for long whenever he kissed me. Again, every room in the house feels like coming home to an old friend. It's great. We went downstairs and had breakfast together before James went to work. It was always depressing whenever he left me alone in the house. However, he was a CEO and I was currently still in school getting a degree. Luckily for me, all of my courses were online, so I didn't have to leave the house to get the degree I wanted. Attending classes in pajamas was always better than having to put on regular clothes. I stretched and yawned, still slightly tired from waking up in the middle of the night. Although as I thought about that moment, I couldn't stop images of my nightmare flashing through my mind. Quickly, I shook my head. Nope. It was a stupid dream. No. I gave it a good JonTron. Nope. No. So much no. Before that night, I had wonderful dreams of James and I preparing the wedding and eventually seeing each other at the church. He hadn't seen my dress despite trying to, so he'd be stunned and I would be blushing and smiling from ear to ear. Yeah, a lot of people used to, when I went to college, wore basically like pajama pants. Which was funny because like there were no dorms on my campus, so people would just like literally roll out of bed and just drive to school. That one nightmare, however, worried me. What if it was an omen, a sign? Yeah, you had that issue in the first game. I wrapped my arms around myself, feeling a cold wave of nerves rush against my skin. My first instinct was to call Naomi or Suzu just to vent about it and get it out of my system. But if there was something supernatural at work, they wouldn't understand. And before they wound up finding out about the supernatural crap, by the way. Oh yeah, high school, a lot of people did that too. Closing my eyes, I made a decision. I took my phone out of my pockets and dialed the number on my phone without even looking at it before bringing it up to my ear. The other line rang a couple times before I heard a voice answer at last.
Hello?
Crap, I didn't know Sam was still sleeping. Sam? Is Carrie awake? Who's Carrie? Sam! Who's Carrie? Do tell.
Dude, why are you calling?
Sam, you dork. Give me the phone. I know it's her.
Doofus, calm down.
Ah, he's in love. I know, because he called her doofus.
Haha. Hello?
I smile. Oh, Carrie was Sam's wife. Yep, I said it, wife. Ah, it's adorable. I love it. Yeah, you go and get yours, Sam. Until we go and get you, then it's a totally different issue, okay? They'd been married for almost a year, and despite sounding like they were always bickering half the time, they truly loved each other. Sam met her while investigating a haunted house. She'd been there as an architectural consultant, and they clicked as soon as they both left. What was even more surprising about their relationship, however, was that Carrie knew what he was before he even confessed it to her. Oh! Apparently she was a witch! Oh, here we go! We have another supernatural being in the game now. A person who had been granted permission to know about magic and otherworldly creatures by the angels and was gifted with both demon and holy magic. Very cool concept for a witch. I like it. I only got to know about otherworldly creatures because I was in a relationship with one and was marrying him. Hey, Carrie, are you free right now?
Huh? Well, I kinda just got out of bed, but let me check my schedule, okay? Give me a sec.
I heard Carrie climb over Sam at one point, making him swear at her before he groaned in defeat at the situation. After a couple of book flips from the other line, Carrie finally cheered.
I don't have anything scheduled for work today, so I'm all free. What do you need? Wedding advice?
No, not that. Do you mind coming over? I kinda want to ask you something.
Sure thing. Sam's got work today. It'll just be me. I'll even bring some pizza and stuff so we can have a fun girls' lunch. What do you say?
Yo, Carrie, BFF5 ever. I hope that she's friends with Naomi and Suzu too. Sounds great. See you soon. The phone call ended and I let out a sigh. This would be good for me. Carrie might be able to help clear things up. I decided to clean as I waited. The mansion was huge after all, and it never stopped collecting dust. Soon enough, however, Carrie came by with 2 pizza boxes in one hand and a large bottle of pop in the other. Oh, pop! I'm from Long Island. We call it soda. If you're in the chat or if you're watching on YouTube, comment and tell me what you guys call soda / pop / Coke / cola / whatever it is you want to call it in your area of the world, because I know it's a very divisive topic. Shelty says it's soda. Thank you. I couldn't help but feel my stomach gurgle at the delicious smell. She brought deep dish pizza. Yum. Sorry, but New York style pizza is the best. We do pizza and bagels better than anyone else. Fight me. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. Oh my god, she's adorable. Oh my gosh, I could so see Sam and her together. Oh my god, she's so cute. I love her character design so much. Chicago style is better? I will fight you, Shelties. Don't you dare. We settled into my room and made my bed into our picnic area. Why not just go into the dining room? Jesus. We laid out a blanket so we didn't get crumbs on the bed itself, but we liked our makeshift eating spot.
So, what's going on? Are you having premarital trouble?
No, it's not about our marriage. Well, Carrie tilted her head at me, wondering what was the matter. I began to doubt myself. Should I just tell her about the nightmare? Maybe it really was just a bad dream and I was overthinking it. I closed my eyes, thinking about what to say. Eventually, I finally spoke up. Yeah, it doesn't look like this affects his route either. So I think we're just going to be honest with her. I mean, she is a witch. She could probably help us. I had a nightmare last night.
A nightmare? Was it really bad?
I nodded, remembering how horrified I was in the nightmare and visibly shivering at the memory. Carrie frowned and poured me a glass of soda.
Maybe I should have brought alcohol.
Yeah! What about, you know what, I'm not even going to bring up Fireball because I had way too much of it this weekend. Daslin, hello, my darling. Welcome to the party. So good to see you. Oh, no, it wasn't that terrible, I swear. I rubbed the back of my neck. I had to relax. It was a nightmare, nothing real. I should have been able to talk about it. I sighed and looked up at Carrie. It was about James. Okay, we're gonna be honest with her. Because again, what's the point of making up this story? I was holding me in a jail cell. Carrie stared wide-eyed at me, unsure of what to say. I continued. He looked cold and evil. Diana was there too.
Diana? The succubus that tried to take the boys away?
Yeah, she was in the cell next to me, but for some reason, it seemed like she was trying to protect me.
Protect you? How?
My mind instantly replayed the nightmare, flashing to when Diana gripped James's shoulder and tried to pull him away from me. I couldn't help my body from wincing at the memory of her being shot by his gun. He came into my cell. He enthralled me, and Diana shouted at him to leave me alone. Then Carrie reached over and placed a hand on my shoulder, making me lower my head. It was strange to think about, Diana protecting me. Yeah, really, that was strange as hell. Yet, I could feel the anger in her voice when James tried to approach me. She truly sounded like she wanted to protect me. He shot her with his demon gun, and when she died, he came after me.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry.
It may not have been real, but my body couldn't help but quake in fear when recalling the nightmare. I shook my head and looked at Carrie, needing to know what was going on. Do you think this is an omen? This nightmare can't just be a dream. Carrie ran her hands through her hair and stared at the blanket beneath us. She bit her lower lip as she contemplated, which made me worried.
You said a jail cell?
Yeah, it was a stone dungeon.
Like in a medieval castle?
Yeah. Carrie shook her head again and ran her hands through her hair once more before looking up at me.
I don't know if this is connected with that dream, but I've heard rumors about the abyssal plains being in utter chaos.
What? What do you mean? You took the princes away, and now their kingdom and Diana's kingdom were at war. You should know this, Anderson. God damn.
I don't know what's happening exactly, but for the past 2 years, the demon world has been emitting some really bad energy. Even the angels are taking note of what's happening. They're even neglecting their duties to go to the demon world themselves.
I'm very glad that we went and explored all of these different romance routes in the first game, by the way. Otherwise, we would have no idea, about the angels and all that kind of stuff. That threw me off. According to Carrie, angels were extremely devoted to watching over the human world. They would never skip duties to even think about the demon world. Carrie shook her head.
The only place I could imagine jail cells like that being used for prisoners is in the abyssal plains. But you and James are here in the human world, so it makes no sense.
Carrie abruptly moved from the bed and reached for her purse, digging through it and practically sticking her entire arm into it. I swear she was the Mary Poppins the day I saw her do that the first time. Woo! She has a bag of holding, you guys! Hell yeah! Apparently it was a demon-branded bag called the Endless Satchel. I wouldn't mind some Endless Satchel. What up, Satch? Only to find... I'm such an idiot. Only found in the demon black market of the human world. It wasn't just a bag on the inside, it was a void. You could stuff anything in there and be able to pull it back out with ease as long as you pictured it in your mind. Very similar to a bag of holding. Carrie pulled out something wrapped in dark green silk. As she unfolded the cloth, she revealed a deck of cards. On the back of each card was a black pentagram with a small, almost unreadable marking with small, almost unreadable markings around it. Oh god. Oh, the yawning is starting, you guys. Oh man. On the faces, however, were different-handed painted... Oh my god, what is going on? Oh god, life. Okay. Were different hand-painted images that helped me recognize it as a tarot deck. They were worn, but they still emitted a power that made a shiver run down my spine.
It's been a while since I've used this, but it might be able to shed some light on the situation.
I watched as Carrie held the deck against her chest and closed her eyes, muttering to herself. She then lifted the deck to her lips and kissed over the top of the card before shuffling it. The cards practically danced and glided between her fingers as if they were alive and she shuffled them in her hands. Eventually, she stopped and the deck settled together in her grip. Ooh. She gently drew 3 cards from the top deck, setting them face down in front of her, and placed the remainder of the deck on the nightstand. She flipped one card over, revealing a wheel with multiple symbols on it. As I stared at the card, the wheel seemed to spin on the face of the card, making me slightly dizzy. Carrie mumbled to herself as she examined the card.
The Wheel of Fortune. Could this be about the demon world changing? No, it can't just be that. Someone changed something in the past and disturbed the fate of the abyssal planes.
Someone changed something in the past. Alex? I looked at the card, taking note of what Carrie said aloud. There were many things that I knew I had personally changed. I wasn't destined to get the Anderson Toys Company. I met the boys and learned about magic, and I was going through a big change in my life with my upcoming marriage. Carrie moved her hand to flip over another card, revealing a figure with a sword in one hand and a scale around the other. Temperance? Staring at the card, I swore I heard angry whispers in the air around me.
Justice?
Justice, I'm sorry.
What could this be about? Could the change in the past be something so big that it demands justice's attention?
My mind began to replay every choice I'd made in my life and fast forward. My decision to let the boys stay, to defend the boys against Malix, to stand up to Diana, everything rolled past my thoughts. Was one of those decisions one I shouldn't have made? Well, pissing off Diana and fighting Malix probably were not good. I didn't get to think on it long as Carrie flipped over the third card. As it was revealed, both Carrie and I gasped. I assume it's death?
The King of Swords?
Oh, King of Swords.
That card is not supposed to look like that.
Ooh, that looks like James. A king figure sat on the throne with a large sword in his hand as if he was ready to attack the viewer. However, the card looked like a black and gold demon I recognized. It looks like they made this special. Maybe we'll get different cards in different routes. I don't know. Maybe. James? The picture, despite being simple, was powerful enough to make a shudder run through my body at the sight. As we stared, however, the nightstand that held the remaining cards began to quake, forcing me and Carrie to look over in surprise.
What the?
Woo! The tarot cards on their own burst upwards and began to fly through the air frantically. The sounds of battle and war emanated from them as raged through the room. And Carrie quickly moved to shield my body with hers as she covered her ears. I covered mine as well, but that didn't stop the sound of blood and clashing swords from digging into my senses. I could almost feel the heat and danger of the image of war that sounds were painting against my skin. As the sound stopped, I looked up to see the cards float down on us, now lifeless and all of them torn in half right down the middle. Wow! As they landed, however, I stared in shock at what I saw on each half card's face. Carrie looked up and gasped as well.
Impossible.
Is that us? Is that Anderson? On half the cards, I saw a girl that had my hairstyle with streams of tears running down her face, reaching out towards the torn edge. It's the lover's card torn in half. Oh, shit! On the other, I saw a weeping boy with James's demon horns and a crown on his head. He was reaching back towards the tear that divided him from the other half of the card where the girl was. My heart practically stopped. Was this really happening? I couldn't believe my own eyes as I stared at the cards in front of me. My nightmare began to flash before my eyes, causing me to grip onto myself and shiver violently from the fear bubbling in my core. Carrie quickly grabbed a hold of me and hugged me to her.
Hey, shh. It's okay. It's okay. Sometimes the cards are wrong. This can't be right.
How could I believe her? I was staring at multiple torn cards showing me the exact same message. I gripped to Carrie, feeling extreme fear and sadness run through my body.
Hey, look at me.
I looked up at Carrie. She gave me a small smile as she squeezed me gently in her hug.
Magic is fickle, okay? The cards aren't always correct. Fate can always be changed. Remember that.
Yes, we'll definitely be changing this fate, that's for damn sure. I knew she was trying to make me feel better. I knew that there was something going on. However, as the thought of my marriage came up, I knew that I'd have to calm down eventually. They were cards, and my marriage was still happening regardless of what they said. I closed my eyes slowly and started to ignore the signs, the cards, and the nightmare in my head. This wouldn't help me, and I had to prepare for my wedding. Carrie muttered an incantation under her breath, and when I opened my eyes, the cards had all disappeared. I hugged Carrie tighter, silently thanking her for removing them. I had to be stronger. I had to. As the day went on, I enlisted Carrie to help with the wedding arrangements. Surprisingly, we got a majority of the work needed done, so that gave us time to relax and watch a movie together before James returned from work. Oh my god, I'm so tired and I'm losing steam, guys. Oh, holy shit, hold on. Wanting to leave us alone, Carrie left as soon as he came.
Hey, did everything go all right? I'm assuming Carrie helped.
Yes, she did. For some reason, I felt the need to hug him. I just needed to. Without warning, I walked over and wrapped my arms around James, laying my head against his chest.
Huh? Love?
Mm-hmm. As James wrapped his arms around me and kissed the top of my head, I smiled. He would be with me and I would be okay.
I love you.
I love you too. My heart felt at ease. Everything would be fine. Everything would be okay. James looked down at me, pulling away slightly to see my face with a smile.
So, what would you like for dinner? We can go out to eat, or we can stay at home and I can make something.
I held James's hands in mine, knowing that I wanted to just stay home with him. We had more than enough for the wedding, yes, but our time together was better spent alone rather than together. But our time together was better spent alone together rather than at a restaurant. That's an awkward sentence. I can't, Shelties. I come home and I stream. Like, I have no time in between. I wish I could nap before I stream. Trust me. I just, you know what? I haven't been getting a lot of good sleep lately, and I've been going to bed late because I've been ending the streams late. So, I've just been making poor life choices. How about we order food instead? You just came back from work. Might as well relax. James chuckled softly before kissing my cheek, making me giggle softly.
As my wonderful bride wishes.
We ordered takeout and sat together in our room, once again making the bed a picnic area. Oh, that's cute, though, with the fire and everything. We played a movie in the background, but our focus was on each other. He made himself comfy without a shirt. I made myself comfy with my head against his shoulder.
So, is everything all right? I made sure the reception hall was taken care of on my way back, so that should be in order.
Oh, wow. Good, thank you. Yeah, everything's in order. We'll have a perfect wedding.
Was there anything you wanted to add to the wedding? It's not too late to include anything you like if you really want it.
No, I don't think so. I think everything we have is good. James nodded before continuing to eat. I, however, stopped and stared at James. I was really going to get married to him. It was strange to imagine that I was really about to swear my life to someone for all time. It was like a dream come true. Why would I ever let something stupid like a nightmare shake me from it? Screw the nightmare. I was going to live a dream. I gently moved my food off to the nightstand and placed a hand under James's plate, making him stop to look at me. I softly pulled it away from him, placing his food next to mine before crawling over James and sitting over his lap. Promise me something? Adorable, by the way.
Huh? Anything.
Promise to stay with me forever? It seemed like a simple and obvious promise, but I wanted to hear him profess it. James continued to look up at me, silently understanding my need to hear it, and wrapped his arms around my body.
I promise to stay with you forever.
Until the end of time?
Until the end of time.
You can't break your promise to me, ever.
I would never dream of it.
James moved a hand up and tenderly caressed my cheek, making me nuzzle into his hand and close my eyes.
You are the one I want to spend my entire life with.
Yeah, those are yaoi hands.
I will give everything and more to you for as long as I possibly can as your husband.
That thumb, though. I felt tears slowly run down my cheeks, which were soon brushed away by James's thumb. I nuzzled further into James's hand and held his wrist, almost hugging his arm to my chest.
Is the nightmare you had last night bothering you?
I couldn't help but nod in reply, frowning and biting my lower lip. I didn't want it to bother me. It wasn't worth it. I knew that James would stay with me and would never hurt me. Oh, we'll see. James gently wrapped his free arm around my back and pulled me against his chest, moving his head to nuzzle my other cheek comfortingly.
Do you want to tell me what happened, or will you be okay?
I moved to wrap my arms around James. I wasn't sure if I wanted to tell him at all. Yes! The answer is yes! Tell him! Tell him! Why would you not tell him? If this is an omen, he better be fucking prepared for it. Yes, and it's exactly what we're supposed to do. Thank fucking God. Tell him. Don't be dumb, damn it. I gently pulled away from him to look into his eyes. I had to tell him. It was about him after all. I was in a dungeon. I was there with Diana. Yeah, his eyes are gorgeous. That is true.
Diana? Did she try to hurt you?
No, actually, she was trying to protect me.
From who?
You? James stared surprised at me, but remained silent as I continued. You came in and enthralled me, but it wasn't like you usually do it. It was forceful, and I didn't want it, but I was under your control. Diana tried to stop you, but you shot her, and then you came for me. For some reason, a weight was lifted from my shoulders. It was a terrible dream, but James deserved to know. As I finished recounting the nightmare, James gently moved his hands up and cupped my face in them.
Thank you for telling me, and I'm sorry that you experienced that kind of nightmare. But I swear to you that I will never hurt you.
I felt myself become lost in his amber eyes, believing every single word he said. I could feel the love and care in his voice, and his warm hands assured me that he would protect me from harm. I wrapped my arms once again around James and let my head rest on his shoulder as his arms encircled my form. I loved him. He loved me. We would protect and love each other forever. Okay. I think I'm actually going to save here because I have a couple of reasons, actually. One, my voice is starting to give out. Two, the chat is very silent tonight, and this will probably be better once we have, like, more people around. Three, I'm exhausted. And I feel terrible, and I'm sorry. I don't know what it is about today. It's probably the heat as well. But, yeah, my voice is really starting to give out. So I think I'm going to stop here for tonight. I might maybe play like some, I don't know if you'd be interested in seeing something else, Shelties, maybe some Rogue Legacy or, dare I mention it, Undertale. But I think for now, we're done with Seduce Me. So I'm going to stop the stream here. I'll stay in the chat. Maybe we'll pick another game to play. But if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. I'm so excited to see what this game has to offer. And all the feels. And yeah, I will talk to you guys soon. And I'll see you soon. And thank you so much for joining me. Bye!